One thing all these new digital cameras have in common is a huge menu system. You can spend a lot of time scrolling through all of these pages, all of these features, and it's not always easy to find the specific thing that you're looking for, especially when you're out shooting, you want to be able to find something quickly. Having to scroll through all the menus could take too much time. That's why most cameras have a custom menu that you can create to find only the specific items that you want to be able to find quickly in the field, things that you use all the time. You put them in your custom menu, you can always get to them very quickly. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what's in my custom menu and why it's there. Okay, so for starters, I have my custom menu broken up into 3 menus. This first one is mostly shooting in the field, things I want to go to while I'm actually shooting, I need to get to quickly. The second one is more maintenance, administrative stuff. The third one is some things that I thought I might need, but maybe not as often, so I kind of keep those off into the third menu. This fourth item here is just for setting up new tabs, and you can create a whole bunch of these, however many you want. So going back to the first one, subject to detect people. This is for the eye detect autofocus. You can detect either people, animals, vehicles, or you can kind of leave it up to the camera to decide. There's no way yet to just toggle this with any of these buttons over here. I wish there was. For now, it's a menu item, so it's just quickly menu. If I'm shooting at a zoo or I'm shooting in wildlife, I want to shoot animals. Quickly jump over there, jump back to people. That I use all the time. That's pretty important. The image stabilizer mode, I really want this on all the time, unless if I'm shooting on a tripod or there's a specific reason why I want to turn it off. This is the in-camera, in-body image stabilization. But there's going to be times that I want to change that, so I'll leave it there. ISO speed settings, if I want to limit the range, if I'm shooting auto ISO and I want to limit the range, you see how this says auto range 100 to 6400. That means if I have my ISO in auto mode, it's not going to go any higher than 6400. And the minimum shutter speed, I set at 250. This is going to be depending on what you're shooting. So if you're shooting in auto and you want to make sure you have a pretty fast shutter speed at 250, it's going to shoot for 250 and adjust your ISO accordingly. If you're going to be maybe you don't need it to be as fast and you want it to move it down to something like in the 1/60th range, 1/30th range, you can do that. Your ISO, the auto ISO will end up being a lower ISO number. So that you can kind of set specifically for the situation that you're in. Again, there's no fast button way to get there. That's why it's in here. The shutter mode, I always shoot in electronic first curtain. If I'm shooting in situations where I need to be completely silent, or if the lighting is okay and I really need 20 frames per second, I can go to electronic. It's going to give me under electronic if I'm in artificial lighting, it can give me some banding issues, but it's totally completely silent shooting in electronic. But otherwise, I'm always shooting in electronic first curtain. Again, that's something that I'm going to need to get to in a moment while I'm shooting, so that's why it's right here. Cropping aspect ratio. I use this when shooting the fisheye lens, because the fisheye lens I have, which is the TT Artisan 7.5 millimeter f2, gives me a full, complete circle image, which I find it hard to compose with. So what I'll do is I'll change this to 1.6, and then when I'm shooting with the fisheye lens, it'll give me a full frame cropped fisheye. So it's easier for me to compose that way when using that lens, and I'm never shooting circular images anyway, so I'll change it to that quickly. The danger with doing that is sometimes I forget to change it back to full. But basically, there's other reasons to do it. If you want to make sure you're only shooting in 16:9 aspect ratio, you can do that, and it'll just adjust. It's not going to give you, when you do that, if I'm shooting 16:9 or I'm shooting 1.6 crop, it's not going to give me the complete image. Like later on, after the fact, if I want to get the full image back in Lightroom, it's not there. It's only giving you the cropped image that you're asking for. So, but important to remember to put it back on full when you're done. That's why it's in there. So those are the 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the 5 items that I go to fairly frequently in the field when I'm shooting. That's why I want them to be there. The second menu here is, like I said, administrative stuff. I want to know what my battery is at. I want to be able to, if I want to format a card or make sure that I'm shooting to the right cards, use that there. Oh, here's format here, if I want to format the cards. This I rarely used anymore, autofocus point display. This is for when you're reviewing your images. It'll put a little square where you're focused, so you know. I typically don't do that, especially with the autofocus system in the RF. It's always spot on. Image review, I can change the duration of the image review. So if I'm shooting in a situation where I'm taking a lot of shots and I don't want that image review popping up and blocking what I'm doing, I can turn it off. I can set it to longer or shorter. So I use that there also. The third menu, picture style, I basically keep it in neutral all the time, but if I'm ever trying to do something where I want something a little bit different and I want my image review to be different, I'll put it in there. That doesn't affect your raw image at all. Some creative stuff that I use sometimes, multiple exposure. I just want to be able to find it in the rare instance that I try to use it. Digging through the menus is going to take too long. I want it to be right there. Same thing with focus bracketing if I'm ever using focus bracketing. I have that there also. And then the interval timer. Again, I rarely use this. I probably should use it more often rather than using the lock on the remote shutter trigger. I could probably just use the interval timer and set that there, because you could basically set it to multiple exposures. You can set it to whatever length you want. It's a pretty useful feature, so that's why I have it there. And then, like I said, this fourth one is just to add new tabs, add new items. It's not really a menu item. So that's it. That's what's in my custom menus. Anything else that I find myself digging around for more than once or twice, I'll make sure I add it to these custom menus later on so I can find it more easily. So that's what's in my custom menu. I'm sure it'll evolve over time as my needs change and I find new things, new features. I'll take some things out, put some things in again. But I'd love to hear what you guys have in your custom menus, or what are some menu items that you go to all the time. Put them in the comments below. I'm sure there's things that I'm overlooking, things that are important that maybe I don't even know about. So definitely put them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. With that being said, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.